Prisons have a very particular representation in the media, which feeds into how most people perceive prison life. However, the media representation offers a very sensationalized image of prisons, feeding into stereotypes and prejudices associated with imprisonment. In general, prison is one of the forms of punishment, meaning that people are sent to prison as a punishment, not for punishment. Consequently, the loss of liberty is a punishment in its own right, and so the conditions in prison should not act as additional punishment. Prisons have a long history, initially being used to hold people awaiting trial and punishment through the capital punishment. Since then, prisons have been subjected to a range of reforms, some of which are connected to the introduction of human rights treaties and conventions, which recognize that people in prison have the same basic human rights as everyone else, including right to life, privacy, family contact, religious belief, physical security, and safety and dignity. Being in prison means that the person is completely dependent on the state. In this way, prisons demonstrate the state's power to impose punishment and label the offender as a criminal. But it also means that the state is responsible for ensuring that the rights of people in prison are respected. Prisons are frequently referred to as total institutions. This term was coined by a sociologist, Erving Goffman, and refers to the ways in which the lives of people in total institutions are controlled. Working, spending their leisure time, and sleeping in the same place has powerful psychological and social effects on one's identity and ability to function. And it can strip individuals of their previous identity, autonomy, and personal possessions. In this way, people in prisons create new identities, some of which are difficult to get rid of after their release, meaning that it might be hard for people to return to everyday life outside of prison. Similarly, prisons have their own unique subculture, with formal rules enforced by the prison staff and informal codes of conduct. This leads to unique values and attitudes being created artificially, which significantly differ from those existing outside of prisons. In order to adapt to prison rules, prisoners undergo the process of prisonalization, where they become a part of the prison subculture. American sociologist and criminologist Gresham Sykes identified 5 pains of imprisonment experienced by prisoners based on his research in a maximum security prison in the US. These include deprivation of liberty, deprivation of intimate heterosexual relationships, deprivation of autonomy, deprivation of security, and deprivation of goods and services. More details about pains of imprisonment can be found in the SCCJR Learning Resource, Prison Life. People in prisons, both in Scotland and elsewhere, can spend over 20 hours a day locked in their cells. Prison authorities work towards ensuring that there are plentiful and meaningful forms of activities individuals can engage in. These include paid work and training, education, exercise, rehabilitative programs, contact with their families, and through care services. While it is not always possible, Scottish prison system aims for prisoners to be engaged in activities for a full working day. Despite attempts to ensure that prisoners' rights are being protected, being in prison still has an incredibly damaging impact on people's well-being and reputation, what can result in many hardships following their release from prison. More details and resources about the prison life can be found in the SCCJR Learning Resource.